Greetings, Patreon tribe. Got a very special Patreon exclusive for you today. Today we're taking a look behind the scenes at how the magic is made. A while back, my brother, Eric Lutz, had asked about me doing a behind the scenes feature of how the videos are actually made. And I shied away from it at the time because I guess I'm just kind of an old school filmmaker in that I know that so many of the movies and TV shows I enjoyed as a kid might have been because I didn't know how the sausage was made. So I kind of held off on it. Adam mentioned it too in one of his comments about taking a look behind the scenes. And you know, I've decided to show you my setup because you guys aren't just the Patreon tribe. You're not just viewers. You are part of the show. You're part of the videos. As the American dream doth the road would say, you are producers, if you will. So I thought I'd show you my cramped quarters here. I know a few of you like to do videos of your own, and maybe this will help you out with your setup, give you some ideas. But we'll start with the power. I have the power. It's a little power bar runs out of here, and this powers my laptop, which I use to record my audio. So, and I'm recording this right now on my phone, and I'm about to tell you how important audio is to me, even though I'm using my phone microphone for this video. But I wanted to show you my camera in action, so that's why I'm using my phone. And we'll just shut this guy up here for a second. This is a really amazing microphone. It's called a Yeti Blue, and this type of stuff was not around when I was first getting into hobby filmmaking and going to film school. We had to buy really expensive, like $200-300 microphones. This guy is incredible. He's just a USB microphone. And I like to use a really long cord for these guys for when Luana and I do the Star Trek reviews, because sometimes we have to, because it's a two-shot of both Luana and I, the laptop has to be quite a distance from us. So that's why a good long USB cord is a good idea. And they go for really cheap on Amazon. But here is my little MacBook Air that I use to record my audio. Yes, I have one of those little things on there. I know I probably don't need to be covering my camera up, but I don't know. It's just force of habit. And I use a program called Audacity. So in terms of the camera or the audio, I'm not a huge stickler. I'm not really well versed in the technical aspects of it. I just want it to work and I want it to sound good. So when I run my Audacity, I always make sure, let's see here, that in my preferences, the Yeti Blue is selected. For some reason, a lot of the time, it's not default selected when it's plugged in. So I have to double check, and it's always good to just tap on the microphone to make sure that you're getting those audio readings, because it might be recording with a built-in microphone, and then your audio isn't going to sound all that good. As a backup, for when the times the Yeti microphone isn't working, then I just go with my in-camera microphone. But I highly recommend getting an external microphone for audio because it's something that a lot of people take for granted. People think that it just needs to look good. It needs to sound good too, nice and clean. Microphones like this, I don't know the technical stuff about condensers and all that. Cameron Johnson would know all about that, being a music guy. But I just know that this type of microphone gives you a little more bass, a little more oomph, and I think it just makes it sound like the person is maybe there in the room with you instead of talking to you over the internet, which gives it just a little more of a personal feeling. So that's why these are good. And if my audio is ever bad, it's because of some sort of little fluke thing where maybe this came loose, or I've done this sometimes. I've turned this the wrong way and I've talked into the wrong end. So the setting I have on mine right now is to be recording on out of the front. So sometimes this thing gets turned around, and that's why I sound so distant. Also, the gain, sometimes when I'm moving this, might get bumped all the way down or all the way up, which will also totally ruin your audio. It'll be too quiet, or it'll just be so loud it's unusable. So that's the microphone aspect, and this is the camera that I use, which is a Canon. Again, I'm not a huge camera guy, but I know I love the Canon lens. So I just like the way the Canon lens film stuff always have, even for short videos I used to do or music videos. I like the look of it, how it captures the background stuff. It's just my preferred look of a camera. This one is a couple years old now, but it is a great little camera. It has a couple of slots for extra memory, and I've never needed them. It's always had tons of space. You can see right here, I've already got some stuff on the internal hard drive on here that I haven't deleted yet, and there's still an hour left on there. So that's always plenty of space. And I'm not, like with audio, I'm not a super technical guy when it comes to cameras, but what I do stop giggling, is I do make note of exposure and white balance. So for a shot like this, all I really need is to go into exposure and go into manual exposure and be able to either turn it down if I feel it's too bright, or usually I have to turn it back up. But the advantage of putting it on manual exposure is that your brightness stays the same when you're spinning. If you go over onto, let's see here, if you go over onto automatic exposure, it changes, especially with chrome parts. When the light hits those chrome parts, all of a sudden stuff in your shot, the whole shot will go dark to try to compensate for the lens being blown out. You can see it sort of right there. Look at the orange wall in the background, and you can see how it's changing brightness as I'm spinning this around. And that's because of the chrome parts on these Optimus Primes. So I'm just getting ready to sit down and do the review, the tutorial on how to do chrome parts for Optimus Prime, PowerMaster Optimus Prime. And then the lights. So the lights that I use are these lights with light stands, and they're called soft boxes. So in behind the soft box, and again you can see the whole screen is going dark here to try to compensate for this camera, this phone camera lens looking right into the light. But these soft boxes come off, and inside there is a bulb. And for those that don't know much about photography and filmmaking, when you use a softbox like this, it does exactly what it looks like it's doing here. It just takes that one little center point of light, and it makes it so that you actually got a giant light bulb, basically. A giant light source that lights everything uniformly, instead of giving you a hot spot, as they call it. So just like one really bright spot, and then everything else isn't lit all that well. So the advantage of using lights like that, because I get a lot of comments of people saying your stuff looks like it's in great condition, it's amazing, it's mint. Some of my stuff isn't all that mint. It's just that I'm lighting it, I think, a little bit better than some of the other people who feature these same things. So when we turn the lights off, usually what happens is that people are just using above room light. And that's what I call stark lighting. The light is just coming from above, and it doesn't make things look pretty, doesn't make them look fun. It just kind of, it makes them look stark, serious. On people especially, that's when your your eyebrows, darken your eye sockets. It just makes it look a little more scary. So that's the typical light that most people will use. And to compare, when we turn on the side lights with softboxes, everything, and I apologize for this shaky shot here, trying to steady it here, but when we light from the sides, then everything is just lit up better. Everything looks a lot more spectacular and glamorous. And that's also a big reason why celebrities look as cool and beautiful and gorgeous as they do. It's because they're not being lit like normal, everyday people are being lit. Normal people are lit from overhead. Celebrities are lit by lights like this. Usually film sets have three-point lighting. There's one in behind too that gives them the background glow to make them look angelic. So that is another big part of making what you're filming look great. And it's important for me because almost every single thing I have here has so much detail in it. So much detail has gone into all of the sculpting that this stuff was just made for lots of light to be thrown on it from multiple angles to really bring out the beauty of it. So the actual stand that I use is, some people call it a Lazy Susan. With my chats with Steve Glosson, we've called it a Lazy Raoul. I think I'm going to call it a Smooth Raoul from now on, because that's what this thing really is. It's a Smooth Raoul. And then the stand that it's on is, we'll shut that off or it'll keep beeping. The stand that it's on is just like a foldable TV dinner tray, which I like because it's sturdy enough and it's also collapsible, easy to move, because every time I do a shoot in here, I clean everything up, close it up, and just lean it against the wall outside this room. So it's nice that it's compact and foldable. The tripod is a Manfrotto. There's still part of the sticker here. And when I got this like 20 years ago, and it's actually made in Italia. So when I first got this thing, it was expensive, for a kid who's in university. And that was a knuckle biter. I was like, ouch, $100 for a tripod? Are you insane? But it was worth every penny. The person I bought it from told me, look, if you get a great tripod, you'll never have to buy another tripod, or maybe just one other tripod in your lifetime. And it was so true. So tripods like this, a big, thick, sturdy tripod is the reason why I can get so many nice, smooth panning shots, side-scrolling shots. It's all in the tripod. You're not able to do that with something that's flimsy, kind of like this table. That's why I don't move this table. But with a good steady tripod with adjustable legs, you can adjust it to any height you need. And then when you're on the go, let's see if I can do this one-handed. It also helps to be able to do a lot with one hand when you're doing stuff like this. But if you're on the go and you don't really have time to flip all of these little knobs, flip, pull, tripods like this also have a really quick extender here to give you a little bit more height, which I use all the time. And you do need a higher quality, higher end tripod in order to use this function so that it doesn't fall on you, slowly sink down. And then it has yet another one for even more height. So there's this one that goes all the way up, and that's a separate one from this one. So both of these give you so much height when you want to just get a higher shot really quick and you don't want to reposition the legs. And especially in a cramped spot like I am here, don't really have all that much maneuverability for where you're going to put the legs. So right beside where I do my filming, oh, I also forgot to mention the microphone. I just have it on like a speaker stand here. I grab one of the speaker stands from my TV room and have it there. It'd be nice if it was adjustable, but it does the job. That's part of what filming is all about. This stuff behind the scenes doesn't have to look pretty. All that has to look pretty is what you're filming, like these pretty guys. And then beside me right here, I just have another table with little stuff or props that I'm going to be using for the video that are within arm's reach. So for this video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do chrome for the eyes of PowerMaster Prime. So I have my little bag of chrome tape here, my tripod or my camera lens here, a pair of scissors which I'll be using to cut the tape, and a screwdriver for taking the head apart. And then if I get to sit for a shoot, then again I just use this little table this chair right here, which is a traditional wrestling style folding chair, which is it's light, it's easy to move around in case I need to get in there and move things around. Just the more portable and lightweight things are that I'm using behind the scenes, the better. And I think that's it. Just an extension cord for the lights and anything else I need to plug in. If there's another prop that I'm using, I don't know, like a hair dryer, it's just handy to have it right there. Another little power slot. Oh, and the flag. The flag is actually the biggest challenge every single time I do a shoot. The first thing I do is play, where do I put the flag? So I just kind of try to maneuver it out of the way depending on what background I want to use. If I'm shooting Transformers, I want Transformers in the background. If I'm shooting Joe, the flag is the background. And then He-Man is either here or here as well. And that's the behind the scenes look at how I make my videos. So hope you enjoyed this. And if you do videos of your own, hope this gave you some ideas. And if you do some videos of your own and you see something that I might be able to change or tweak or improve here, by all means, let me know about it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for supporting on Patreon and joining the tribe. And until next time, Nerdmas Day.